Tim Stocks is the Vice President of Marketing at MobiCord, one of our key sponsors at TEM Expo, so thank you very much, MobiCord. Tim has presented at dozens of large conferences across the United States and has a deep knowledge of mobile, voice, network, and cloud environments. In today's session, how to effortlessly process invoices and get cash back, Tim is going to show you some new strategies and approaches to pull costs from your bills and add some more automation to your life. Please ask him questions in the chat room, and please press pound, pound, pound to send your applause over to Tim. Here's Tim.
Welcome everybody. We are so excited to be part of this fantastic event that's been put on by Amalgam Insights. We really appreciate all the work that Jan and his team have done to reach out and help companies during these crazy times. His webinar series has been absolutely fantastic, and we really appreciate this event and the opportunity that we have to sponsor this event as well. My name is Tim Stocks. I'm the VP of Marketing for MobiCord, and I've been deeply involved in the TEM industry for over 5 years now, and I really look forward to sharing some of my experiences with all of you today. We also look forward to sharing some great customer experiences with you guys today. So just to frame our conversation and why we decided it would be so urgent to be part of this event, I wanted to talk to you about some of the challenges that I'm sure you are all too familiar with right now. And really, there is no easy way to put it, except that times are really tough. We're looking at some of the worst unemployment rates since the Great Depression. I know the US here has been hit tremendously hard. And there are some really hard times for a lot of people. We're seeing COVID-19 resurges like crazy. Here in Utah, where I am, we're seeing a lot of really high case counts. And then Arizona, Florida, some of these places, it's just extremely, extremely scary with how the virus has come back and what the government's having to do to be able to control that. It's been highly detrimental to businesses. And then I think part of the thing that's the most unsettling is that there's no clear pathway to the new normal. And so businesses today are just having to learn to cope with the things they are. And hopefully in 6 to 12 months, we'll be able to get back and find a new normal. But there's a lot of transition and there's a lot of change. And that's really tough on the teams that have to deal with that. And I'd like to share a few stories from our customers and how they've been impacted by COVID-19. And there's 3 particular that I want to talk about. The first one is a clothing retailer, and they were actually forced to close more than 1,700 locations overnight. And those 1,700 locations were closed for over 2 months. Now, in a lot of states, they're back to business and they were able to open. But can you imagine what that's like, getting into the new normal with having customers have to wear masks, only being able to allow a certain number of customers in their stores at a given time? It's been really tough on them. And it's been tough on them financially. And MobiCord's done a lot of things to help them in a very quick way to be able to reduce those expenses. Another great example is with something that happened in conjunction with COVID-19, which was the oil and gas industry and the oil prices just tanking seemingly overnight, also with some things that are happening over shores and some conflicts there. And so we had several oil and gas companies that were deeply affected, and we helped with them finding great ways to save money very quickly. And last but not least, we also have logistics customers. There's one in particular that was really largely impacted. Now, you wouldn't think that a logistics company would have problems like this, since there's so many things, more things being shipped than ever. But you have to remember that there's a large part of the economy that's fueled by restaurants and the hospitality, and there's logistics working to get those goods to those people and to those companies. And so overnight, this customer lost 20% of their business and was forced to take a lot of very quick decisions to be able to reduce cost because of that. Well, how has this impacted the teams? what has this been and what has this meant to you? And for our customers, and even for MobiCord as well, it's really boiled down to having to do more with less. Okay? Do you guys feel this? Do you feel like you've had to do a lot more work and you have a lot less resources to do it with? Maybe reduce budget, maybe reduce staff. Well, that's how our customers have felt as well. So we've seen a huge increase in demand for IT services as a whole, TEM being a huge part of that in the mobility side, in having to make sure that all of your customers are equipped and able to work remote. So we've seen this huge increase in the demand, while you've also been asked to immediately look for ways to reduce the budgets, to get the cost down as much as you can. And in some cases, that means reductions in staff, right? So literally, you have fewer people, you have higher demand, and you're trying to do this all from home, where you have added pressures of kids that you're maybe trying to homeschool, or luckily we're in the summer, so that's not as big of a problem. But there's a lot of pressures that are mounting on these teams, and it's really been hard for a lot of people. Well, the bright spot is that MobiCord is here to help. And so if you implement what you learn today, here's a few things that you can see. You can see instant cash back, so literally putting cash back in your budget. So I'm not talking about savings from providers or anything like that. I'm talking about literally getting cash back. Next thing you'll see is a ton of time savings from your team. And then last but not least, we will provide you with amazing provider cost savings as well. So listen intently. Hopefully you can shut down the distractions and we can pay close attention to make sure that we're getting the most value out of this session that we possibly can. So who is this session for? And who will this session be extra beneficial for? Well, if you're getting pressured to reduce your IT budget, this session is for you. If you're getting asked to do more with less, like we just discussed, this session is for you. If you're looking for something that actually works, then this session is for you. And also if you're looking if you can implement it quickly without huge efforts from your team, right? It's one thing if a solution actually works, but if you can implement it fast, that's going to make the difference. And also, are you looking for a long-term solution? If you're not just looking for a band-aid fix that can get you some quick cash, but something that's sustainable, that will provide you with savings and cash back year after year, this session is for you. Now, this session is not about MobiCord. This session is about you and how we can help you and what problems you're facing. But it may be helpful to know our story. So first of all, MobiCord is leveraging the leading ServiceNow platform to help you manage mobile, voice and network, and cloud expenses and services, all from ServiceNow. We're the only TEM out there that's certified with applications native to the ServiceNow platform that can help you do that. We're also the fastest growing TEM, according to the Inc. 5000. And last but not least, first of all, we're here to enable you to minimize your time spent on TEM. Okay? We want to reduce the effort that it takes you to manage your TEM services. We also want to give you the freedom to choose your managed service providers so that you can get the best value and the best services possible. And last but not least, we want to help you get money for paying your IT invoices. And we're going to talk about what that means here throughout this session. But we want to do all of these in record time. We want to help you implement these things quickly so you can get the value that you need. And I really feel like the best way to demonstrate and talk about these subjects is to talk about an actual real life story that will help you learn how you can effortlessly process your invoices and get cash back while doing it. So this is our customer story, and it's how a healthcare leader saves thousands of hours each year with effortless invoice processing and gets cash back for paying invoices. So let's talk about the customer themselves. So as we said, they're a healthcare provider, and they're one of the largest for-profit hospitals in all of the United States. And they have a very large footprint. So they're operating in over 200 locations across multiple states. So we're talking about large physical hospitals with thousands of employees. Also, we're talking about smaller clinics that are operated all over the place. And so it ends up being a network with tons of hospitals, tons of clinics, and different ways that they're searching to be able to improve their patient experience by meeting the patients where they're at. And they have a large TEM footprint because of all these locations. Right now, they're spending over $20 million a year on their telecom expenses. Well, let's talk about the challenges that they're facing. And they have some doozies because they've largely been growing by acquisitions. And if you've ever been part of an acquisition, you would know that you end up with a bit of a mess. So you have tons of duplicate services and providers. You have multiple technology platforms you may be using. You have redundant employees. And when you are mixing all these different systems, it's just a real challenge. And this is part of what caused their problems. And over the few years, they had done quite a few different acquisitions. So we're not just talking about a single acquisition. We're talking about multiple acquisitions. And this really created quite a mess. So let's talk about the ways that they were impacted. Well, the first thing is when you have 200 locations, you're getting multiple invoices per location. And they were actually looking at hundreds of invoices each month. And even though they had a TEM solution, a lot of these invoices weren't mixed in there and they were being processed manually. And there was no way for them to reconcile which invoices were being handled where. And this was requiring tons of dedicated resources. And this is both the invoice processing part by the TEM team, as well as the bill pay from the accounting team. Okay, and so it was all very challenging with the confusion and chaos going there with all the manual work happening between different departments. And so really they ended up with something that lacked a lot of accuracy in addition to the manual work. And it made it so it was really slow to process the invoices because they were trying to find everything and centralize and get it together. And so it took a long time for them to process it. And this led to a couple different things. And these are things we never want to have, right? So number one, they were getting fees from the providers, okay, just late fees. And then in a couple instances, they actually had service disruptions. Could you imagine that? Trying to provide healthcare services and you have one of your locations that all of a sudden is stuck without internet, or a location that the phones get cut off. I mean, this is something that can be absolutely detrimental to their business that should never, ever happen. But they had problems with it, and it was hugely impactful on their business. And last but not least, plain and simple, there was no visibility. There was no control of their spend. And when they paid their bills, there was no cash back. And so they went looking for a solution. And the interesting thing about this healthcare company was that they still are, a ServiceNow customer. And they found that they got a lot of value from using the ServiceNow platform. It was their enterprise platform, not only for IT, but for other things as well. And they found a lot of value through using the platform. And they had already started consolidating some things on ServiceNow, such as their inventories, and also some of the request management and the field services that they were doing. And so it really came down to them asking themselves, saying, well, how can we leverage the ServiceNow platform to manage TEM? How can we get rid of our outside TEM providers with their own platforms and just bring those TEM programs into ServiceNow? And so that's exactly what MobiCord has helped them do. And this is what MobiCord does, is we help companies bring their TEM programs onto the ServiceNow platform. I mean, ServiceNow already has the solutions for request management, for the service management, for the inventories. Really, what needs to be brought in there are the financial services. And so with MobiCord, they're able to ingest invoices into ServiceNow. Those invoices are automatically audited based on the contract. So we make sure that every time an invoice is brought in, that the lines are checked, that there's no billing errors, and that everything happens according to their contract. And this is all done without the manual work. So not only does the invoice audits save a lot of money by not paying for services that you shouldn't be paying for, but it is also helping them save a tremendous amount of time. The next thing is reconciling data. This can be really tricky, right? You need to be able to allocate those costs back to the correct party or location or cost center. And it can be really tricky to reconcile data. Well, ServiceNow makes it pretty easy because all the data is already there. So in their instance, we just needed to bring in the financial data and connect it to what they already had in ServiceNow. And that allows us to allocate those costs and produce an AP file. And when that AP file has been approved, then we can do a few other things. So, such as we can accrue for costs that were supposed to show up that didn't show up. We can also produce detailed expense analytics, and ultimately, we can also pay those invoices. And this is kind of crucial to the process because just like when you guys go and pay your bills with credit cards and whatnot, you get cash back. Well, you can also get that cash back for paying your TEM bills. And MobiCord is very unique in this way that not only do we pay the invoices for you, but we actually give you that cash back, and that goes into your budget. So we literally cut you a check every single month for the cash we get back, these rebates from paying your TEM bills. How cool is that? You can actually get cash back for paying your bills. And on top of that, we're taking over that work of paying all those bills. Did you know, according to Concur, it costs $15 to process a single invoice? And we can take that work over for you. And that comes back to you every month in cash. So let's look at the results that our customer was able to have by bringing this on ServiceNow and automating and making effortless invoice processing. So the first thing they saw was just tremendous cost savings. So $3.7 million in the first year came from auditing. Pretty incredible. Second thing they saw was 4,000 plus man hours saved each year. And this is what we talked about, automating the invoice processing, taking the bill pay off of their hands, helping them automate that work that shouldn't have to be done manually. And then last but not least, they actually got and they have the potential year over year to earn $200,000 in cash back. Holy cow. You don't realize how substantial that is until you've paid the invoices and you see the actual money coming back. So this is pretty substantial what you can get cash back for letting MobiCord pay your bills. So how would your team benefit if you guys implemented these services? What would you do with that additional value, with that $3.7 million in cost savings, the 4,000 man hours you get back, or the $200,000 you could get back from letting us process your invoices? Well, this is some of the things that they looked at doing, was funding innovation projects. And I know today innovation projects aren't happening as much as they did before, but this is a great time to invest in innovation. Also looking for ways to increase productivity. And then the other thing is giving cash back to the business, reducing that budget, spreading it around. And this had a huge impact for them. Well, I think part of what made this hugely impactful for them was the ability to do it really quick. So not only is there huge value behind this, but it's huge value that can be done in a couple months, not in a couple years. And that's what we need now is we need solutions that are fast that can provide value. And so here's a couple things that we consider as we go to help onboard you. So we ask, are you a ServiceNow customer already? Or are you not a ServiceNow customer? One of those two things. Now, if you are a ServiceNow customer, here's how it works. Number one, it's designed to be fast and easy. We want to make your life as easy as possible and help you get onboarded as quickly as possible. So the great thing is that ServiceNow already has all the integrations that we need to get started. So they're connected to your ERP system, they're connected to your HR system, there's cost centers there, there's users there. All the infrastructure, all that foundational data has already been gathered. So why try doing that again? We can use what you already have. Then it's as easy as MobiCord installing our apps on your ServiceNow instance. Then we'll bring in the carrier information, activate those carriers. And then we drive value by automating work with the workflows. You already have the workflows in ServiceNow. I'm sure you have onboarding workflows, employee transition workflows, and we can actually build into those workflows and help you automate a lot of the work and provide more value. And all this can be done as quickly as 30 to 90 days. So really, really quickly. And you can have a lot of value and get a lot of money back into your business. Now, if you're not a ServiceNow customer, that's okay. And this is one of the really cool things with MobiCord is that you still get to use the power of the ServiceNow platform, okay? The enterprise platform that the majority of the Fortune 500 companies are using. And with that, it's still going to be fast and easy, but we're going to have to add a couple extra steps. So really, at the end of the day, we bring ServiceNow with us. We'll connect ServiceNow with your environment. So we got to get that information, the financial, foundational information in there, like your users, cost centers, and that kind of information's got to be connected with ServiceNow. We still have to install our apps. We'll activate the carriers. We can still automate all the work with workflows. And this is really looking at more of a 60 to 90 day implementation. So it's still fast and easy, especially by industry standards. But there is an extra step there where we need to pull in that integration, and that's okay. So if you want to team with MobiCord to effortlessly process your invoices and get cash back, here is how you can get started. So the first and easiest thing you can do is actually visit our virtual booth. We're going to have people there all day, and we'd be happy to help you out. And that's the easiest way to do that. Now, if you're watching this as a recording later on, then you can also contact us at www.mobicord.com/cash-back. And from there, what we'd like to do is have you provide us with the list of your carriers and the amounts that you are paying them. What this will enable us to do is actually do an estimate for you guys on the cash back and savings that we can produce for you. And then from there, we'd love to get started and get working with you to be able to get cash back and effortlessly process your invoices. If you're interested in learning more, here's a few resources that you can use. Once again, you can visit our virtual booth. We'll have videos there. We got case studies. We also have a live chat. I'll be there most of the day, as will a few other people from MobiCord. You can also check out our website at www.mobicord.com. And you can check out our ServiceNow Knowledge 20 presentations as well. We just sponsored that event back here a couple months ago. And we have a really great customer presentation there about Carlisle Construction Materials and what they did with mobile management in MobiCord. And then we have also a global healthcare leader one, like the one that we shared with you guys today. So go ahead and check out these resources and learn more about us, and we'd love for you to get that information and hit us up as well. And last but not least, you can also reach out to me personally. My email is tim@mobicord.com. My phone number is listed there. You can call me or text me if you'd like. And you can also check out our website, mobicord.com. So I just want to end by personally thanking each and every one of you for joining us today. I know that you're extremely busy. You've been asked to do a lot more with a lot less. And I really do sincerely appreciate you guys being here today. Huge thanks to Amalgam Insights for this fantastic event that we have. And we really look forward to speaking with you guys. So go ahead and reach out to us, and we'd love to chat. Thank you so much and have a fantastic day.
All right, that was a great session. Thank you so much for that presentation today. So, our speaker will be in the chat room for the remaining period of time, so please ask your questions and continue the conversation. And then please join us for the rest of our sessions coming up. Visit our sponsors, MobiCord, Upland Software, Vision Wireless, and WidePoint in their booths, and then also hang out with us in the networking lounge. Have a great event.